Are you ready for gigabit speeds from SpaceX Starlink? I know I am. Let's get into it. Hey everybody, welcome back to the channel. Thank you so much once again joining me for tea time. We're coming to the end of some fireside. I hope you're joining me with your cup of tea, maybe a cup of coffee, hanging out, talking tech, talking space, SpaceX, Starlink, Linux, AI, all kinds of good tech stuff. So today we're going to be talking about the new version 3 satellites that are going to be placed on orbit as soon as Starship is functional. Let's just say we saw a great flight with IFT-11. That was the end of the Block 2s, and it did a fantastic job. There was no anomalies, so to speak. So everything was, let's just say, picture perfect. They did a great job and they learned a lot. All of that they learned is going to be moved into the Block 3s that we're going to see in very short order. They are now retrofitting the, let's call it Pad A, or sometimes people call it Pad 1. Pad 1 and Pad 2, Pad A, Pad B, however you want to look at it. But the first pad is being retrofitted to the new Block 3, which is really, really exciting because that means, once again, it's not too far away when we're going to see the new Block 3s fly. So today we're going to be talking about the version 3 satellites because some people want to know, like, what are you getting from it? You know, getting these new satellites up there on orbit, why does it matter? There's currently 8,500, 8,600 satellites on orbit. Do we need more? Yeah, we do. So, but not just more of the same, but better more. And that's what is coming with the version 3s. They are bigger, they are faster. And that's what we're going to get into today. So before we dive in, I want to say, if you enjoy the content, throw it a thumbs up. Don't forget to subscribe if you're not. If you are, thank you. I appreciate that. Click the notification button here and then click all. So when I go live or when a new video comes out, you'll be notified of it immediately. That's what YouTube says, but they don't do it. But let's make believe. Click all anyways. If you want to get back to the channel, there's a little thanks button right down there. Click on that, give $1 or $2 if you like. If not, it's perfectly fine. The videos are still free. Consider becoming a member of the channel. That would be even better. And if you haven't checked out any of my merch, go to JCristina.com/shop. Once again, JCristina.com/shop. Check it out. If there's something there you like, please pick something up and help support me and my family. And finally, when you're done watching this video, not yet, click right around here. I put together just under 600 videos on SpaceX Starlink. A lot of good stuff. Helpful how-tos, tips, tricks, what to do, what not to do, what to buy, what not to buy, and of course the why behind all of it, because this channel is about the what, the why. So let's dive into this article. I'll give you my commentary as I always do. And then finally, I want to hear from you down below, as I always say. And if you don't want to put anything down there because you're shy, what do you need to do? Put an emoji. That's fine. I'm okay with it. Put a poop emoji, put a rocket, whatever you like. I'm happy with it. Helps out. I appreciate that. Starts out by saying SpaceX Starlink version 3, the future of high-speed satellite internet. SpaceX is set to revolutionize satellite internet with the up-and-coming Starlink version 3 satellites, designed to deliver gigabit-class speeds globally. These next-generation satellites are significantly larger and more powerful than their predecessors, poised to enhance connectivity for users worldwide. I'll get into the size difference and what it all means before the end of this video. What sets version 3 apart? The version 3 satellites are engineered to handle 1,000 gigabits or 1 terabit of download capacity and 200 gigabits of upload capacity per satellite. This represents a substantial increase over the version 2 mini satellites, which offer considerably less capacity and overall speed. The version 3's advanced technology aims to provide faster, more reliable internet services, especially in underserved regions. Deployment via Starship. To accommodate the size and weight of the version 3 satellites, SpaceX plans to launch them using the Starship launch system. Each Starship mission is expected to deploy up to 100 version 3 satellites, significantly enhancing the Starlink network's capacity and coverage. Elon Musk, the CEO of SpaceX, has emphasized the importance of Starship and the deployment of version 3 satellites, stating this, Quote, Starship is the key to unlocking the full potential of Starlink's next generation capabilities. Gwen Shotwell, president of SpaceX, has indicated that the version 3 satellites are a critical step towards achieving global broadband coverage, noting, quote, with the version 3 satellites, we are taking a significant leap forward in providing high-speed internet access to every corner of the globe. Anticipated timeline. While the version 3 satellites are ready for deployment, their launch is contingent upon the operational readiness of the Starship system. SpaceX is actively working on the development and testing of Starship to ensure a safe and efficient launch of version 3 satellites, not to mention getting to the moon and Mars. There is some other, let's say, important things that Starship is going to be used for besides version 3 satellites. Anyways, I digress. The future of global internet is here. The introduction of SpaceX Starlink's version 3 satellites marks a significant milestone in the evolution of satellite internet technology. With its enhanced capacity, faster speeds, and broader coverage, the version 3 satellites are poised to transform global connectivity, bringing high-speed internet to areas previously underserved or lacking access altogether. So I think that this was a pretty good basic article about what's going on with the version 3 satellites, but of course I want to give you a little bit more information because I know you guys want it. One of the main things that a lot of you are interested in, and myself included, is gigabit speeds. I've been talking about this since the very beginning, about 56 months ago or so when I first started coming out of beta, and let me just tell you, gigabit speeds would be unbelievable to be able to access that type of speed from space. Now, how they're doing it is, one of the ways is they're lowering those satellites. So instead of the satellites sitting at, let's say, 530, 570 kilometers, they're going to be lowered to about 330, 340 kilometers. Let's just say about 200 kilometers closer to Earth. So you end up with better signal, all right? It's just a stronger signal, it's closer. It's also going to reduce latency because once again, it is closer. Elon Musk's goal is latency that it's under 20 milliseconds. And if you're a gamer or if you're doing any type of online, let's say video conference calling, you know latency is everything. If you have extremely high latency, you kind of look like a Minecraft character and the lips aren't, it's just a hot mess, right? Might as well be on a walkie-talkie. So low latency is very important. The other thing that is important is it's going to have a smaller, let's say, footprint of coverage. So as you bring a satellite further away, what happens is the beam spreads out. You can now cover more people. When you bring the satellite in closer to Earth, it gets tighter, so the beam gets smaller. So you can only cover let's say, a smaller number of people. But once again, the speeds will be faster, the latency will be lower. You need more satellites though, because now you're not going to be covering as much of that coverage area because the beam is tighter. Now, the other thing is it's a faster orbital decay. What does that mean? That means that since the orbit is 200 kilometers closer to Earth, it's going to experience more atmospheric drag, meaning it wants to be sucked into our atmosphere faster, quicker, harder. That means it can't stay in orbit as long. So you can do one of two things. You could either add propulsion to it, meaning, let's say, stronger engines, in big air quotes there, or more propellant, right? To keep them on orbit for a longer period of time. I just don't think that SpaceX is going to do that. They know these things have a reduced life expectancy because they are closer, and that's just the way it is. So be it. Remember, when Starship is fully operational, it'll be able to put into orbit about 60 to maybe even 100 of these version 3s at a time. That is a lot. That is a big, big deal. The other thing that they're working on that they didn't talk about in this article is this advanced optical intersatellite communication, okay? Those links between satellite to satellite to satellite that forms a mesh network, just like a mesh network that you would have in your home. where each one of your APs or access points talks to the main router and it propagates the signal throughout your house. So it doesn't matter where you are, you're still going to have good coverage. The same thing holds true, kind of, sort of, with this entire mesh network of right now, let's say 8,600 satellites. They're all connected, meaning this new system is going to allow them to beam information from satellite to satellite to satellite to satellite across the entire continent or entire world, and then bring the information down wherever it needs to be. Why is that important? Less ground stations. Make sense? So if you're in the middle of the ocean, for example, there's no ground stations anywhere in sight. It shoots the data up to the satellite, and then that satellite bounces it from satellite to satellite to satellite to satellite until it gets to a ground station where it needs to be. What's really nice here is, let's say if we wanted to take information from Florida, where I am, and send it to China, for example. Well, it doesn't really, at this point, once these things are fully operational, even need to touch the ground until the data gets to China. It could go up to a satellite and then bounce it all the way across the entire world and then down to a ground station in that region. Pretty powerful and extremely fast. Because remember, the laser optic system that is going from satellite to satellite to satellite is sending the data at the speed of light, but the speed of light in a vacuum, which is actually even quicker than the speed of light in a piece of fiber terrestrially here on Earth, because you don't have anything to impede it. Well, unless something blocked the laser signal, like a piece of space junk or something. But for the most part, you're going to get faster signal, and it's going to be able to send that information across the entire globe in milliseconds, which is unfreaking believable if you think about it, guys. Unbelievable. The other thing here is with these new version 3 satellites, they have not only a larger solar array so that they have more power, but they also have bigger radiators. What does that mean? Well, with the version 2 minis, there's only so much speed or so much power they could put in per satellite. That means, like your CPU in your computer or your GPU, your graphic processing unit, well, there is a thermal protection, let's say, involved. Once it gets to a certain heat level, it will slow things down, right? Slow down your graphics card, slow down your CPU, slow down everything so that it doesn't overheat. Same thing holds true here with the version 2 minis. They're kind of throttled, let's say. So even if they had more power, Scotty, they can't really use it because of the radiators. They can only dissipate a certain amount of heat. That means that they can only push a certain amount of power. Whereas the version 3s with the larger array to collect solar energy, but also the larger array of radiators, they can dissipate more heat, hence provide more power, more signal strength. Bottom line. The other thing is they're finally doing this dual redundant type of system when it comes to their transceivers and processors. So there is redundancy. In comparison to having just one, they're going to have two, multiple. So a satellite doesn't go bad as easily, let's say, because if there is a problem, they can swap over from one transceiver to another transceiver or from one processor to the other processor, right? Which simply makes sense, and with the version 3s, they're going to have that. Now, the other thing that I find really interesting is they will have a new means of, let's call it, dynamic capacity allocation. That sounds like a good term, right? So basically, on the fly, dynamically, they can move the capacity of any specific region from place to place. What does that mean? That means if, let's say, you have 0 to 100 in this location, and you're providing, let's say, 100 capacity here, and now all of a sudden there's an explosion of new traffic that needs to come from this area because maybe there is some type of catastrophe or something happening in that region where they're doubling bandwidth, tripling, quadrupling because everyone is on their phone. Once again, maybe there's some type of, let's say, event happening. What does it do? it dynamically shifts the capacity to that region. Pretty interesting, right? That means that it can now kind of divert its full capacity to a specific area that needs it. Once again, if there is some type of outage in a location, or a volcano erupts, so there's a hurricane or some other type of disaster, well, those locations need a lot more capacity. I'm sure a lot of you guys have been to, let's say, a football game, and you're sitting there with another 80,000 people around you, and you're trying to use your phone. You're like, oh my God, I can't even send this picture out. I want to send this to the I can't do it because it's being 100% saturated. Well, that is what this dynamic capacity allocation will do. It will allow those super saturated areas that need more to have more at that specific time, and then migrate it back. It's basically a living system, a system that's living, breathing, and it is changing its capacity and moving it around as need be, most likely using AI to do it, analyzing traffic, analyzing throughput, analyzing any type of congestion, and then migrating or moving the network accordingly. It's something that we would do when we would be in a NOC or a network operations center building, let's say, I don't know, a fiber channel or something, and routing and moving data around the system accordingly. So there is no, let's say, bottlenecks, right? It keeps everything flowing smoothly. That is something that they're doing here. The idea of having a reduced, or the potential of having reduced latency, is so big. And this really has to do with the higher throughput, also closer satellites, and the improved routing that I'm talking about, where it can route the information from satellite to satellite to satellite, instead of going up and down from ground station to satellite, off to the POP, which is your point of presence, back to the ground station, up to the satellite, back down to you. It's a big hot mess, right? So all of this new, let's say, means or new functionality, new way of doing things is going to speed things up. Once again, according to Elon Musk and Gwen Shotwell, which is the president over there, which is great. Now, I've been telling you that there is a size difference, and the reason why the version 3 satellites can't be launched on a Falcon 9, they have to be launched using the Starship. What is the size difference? Now, this is really kind of incredible, and some people really, they don't get it. Matter of fact, on the screen, maybe over here or maybe on top of me, I will put a display of what the version 1, 2, 3, what these satellites look like in size, because there is a massive size difference. So, for example, the version 3, the wingspan of the version 3s is about 60 meters. 60 meters. Whereas the wingspan on the version 2 is about 13 meters. So you got 13 to 60. Massive. Big difference. Also, the weight. The weight of the version 2 minis is around, let's say, 800 kilograms, somewhere around there. These version 3s are an upward of 2,000 kilograms. So more than double. So you're getting this just massive wingspan, and you're getting double in the weight. So the size is so much bigger. So that's why they cannot be launched in the Falcon 9. They just simply can't fit in there. And even if they were able to fit them, they'd be able to fit like 4 of them. Just a couple maybe. They just can't do it. It's just not feasible. But remember, for every one of these that gets into space, it's going to be an increase of like 60 terabits of downlink, something crazy, a ton capacity more. And this is every single one of them. They're about 10 to 15 times the capacity of the current version 2 minis. 10 to 15 times, guys. That is just nuts. Think about that. Even if you use 10, for example, if you put 10 on orbit, it would be the equivalent to 100 or maybe even 150 of the version 2 minis. Just 10 of them. What a major disparity between the two. So, are you ready for gigabit? I am. And just so you know, it is right around the corner. My prediction is the beginning of next year. Lately, I've been wrong, and it comes earlier. So maybe it'll happen fourth quarter of 2025, but I believe that it'll probably be the beginning, maybe first quarter, maybe even second quarter of 2026, where we see the rollout of gigabit speeds, and they're probably going to roll them out to the commercial satellite receivers first, and then they'll move into us, everyone else, right? Which I'm okay with. Let those commercial folks out there that are paying the big bucks get the high speed first. Remember, as of right now, the version 2s in the middle of the ocean, we have friends of the show that have written in that are seeing anywhere from about 500 to 600 megabits down. That is unbelievable. Remember, if you're in the middle of the ocean, there is no one using the satellite overhead. Just a few people that are in the ocean, and that's it. So you're basically have like 100% of the throughput. Of course, it is throttle, but you get a lot of it. And that's why we're seeing such fast speeds. Imagine these version 3s with full capacity of being 10 to 15 times more than the version 2 minis. Unbelievable. Anyways, down below, I want to hear from you. What do you think about this? Do you want to see gigabit in your home right from a satellite at 320 kilometers over your head? I think it'd be awesome. Absolutely awesome. And even more importantly is that latency. Anyone that's a gamer out there, or if you're doing any type of homeschooling, or if you're doing conference calls or whatever, that lower latency is what you want, even more than the speed. Trust me. And you're going to get it. Elon Musk said sub 20 milliseconds, and it will be there. I will say about 12 milliseconds to about 15 milliseconds on average is probably what we're going to see, which is literally what we're getting now with like cable companies, right? And some of the, let's say crappier fiber out there is getting about the same. I'm currently seeing anywhere from about 4 to 6 milliseconds. SpaceX Starlink, I've seen as low as 14.3 milliseconds, which is unbelievable. And then with my T-Mobile that I have over there, we're getting anywhere about 30 to 40 milliseconds from a tower about half a mile away. So there is a difference. Anyways, guys, once again, down below, I want to hear from you. What do you think about all this? And if you haven't subscribed yet, consider doing so. If you enjoyed the content, throw it a thumbs up. If you didn't, throw it a thumbs down. YouTube likes it either way. Don't forget to head over to my website, JCristina.com/shop. See if there's something there you like, pick it up. I would appreciate that. Many blessings to you and your family. Stay safe, stay healthy, stay connected. We'll see you in the next one. Love you guys.